welcome back to Closing Shift. This is lovely episode number 42. I am your host, Emmy, joined by my, as always, cooperative host, Mia. And today we are joined by a very special guest from our past, February Bryant. Welcome to the show.
Always a real kidder, that one.
It's good stuff.
Yes, it is a lovely November day that we are recording this. It's starting to get nice and cold. Holiday season is upon us. And also the new year. You can start to smell it on the breeze. So I have to ask, Amelia Bedelia, what is something in 2025, coming up in the next year or so, that you're looking forward to?
Being closer to death.
Well, that is one answer.
No, I was just like, what's the opposite of what you want? What you want me to say? Let me think. What's coming up in 2025 that I'm looking forward to? I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot and not a lot. I'm not really planning anything for the upcoming year. I mean, my HRT becoming much more, like, severely taken over me is nice. Although, I mean, we'll see how that plays out throughout the next first year of Trump's term, but you know, we won't bring politics into this. That's where my thought process is on that. It hasn't really gone further than that. I don't have any major intention specifically for next year.
No resolutions?
Not really. I worked on myself and grew up a lot this year. I'm really happy with the progress I've made as a person and the way I've changed my ways about going about life that have benefited me and have benefited my presence, my desires for how I want to be presented around other people. And I mean, because I used to be pretty dangerously selfless, and I care a lot about making sure I'm a top priority, just because there's so many things that could go wrong with me in any given day. Taking care of myself was like hard, but it was only hard because I was so trained not to by various different things, various different habits I'd built. I mean, I left two of like the worst bad habits / kind of addictions that I had behind this year. And I'm ending this year off in like despite a lot of really shitty stuff happening recently, in one of the best mindsets that I've been in a long time, because it's been a long time since now that I was able to just enjoy hobbies I have as hobbies, not even think twice about committing part of a day to a thing, hanging out with anyone and enjoying it, and not thinking about extra things just because I know they exist. I would just like to keep that going, you know, like, I mean, this is kind of my answer, is that I kind of like, I don't need any resolutions at the moment. Like, my resolution for this year was I saw 2024 getting a lot better for me, and thankfully it did. Not in ways I expected, but it did get a lot better. But I just don't, I got no reason to, I guess I have to like deal with so much during this holiday season. Still, I'm like just there. I'm stuck here until I spend enough money, and then I can move on. But 2025 seems so like nebulous at this point. Weirdly enough, it just seems so far away. Like, I guess something I'm looking forward to is the next Royal Rumble and Raw on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that quite a bit.
I'm a little bit scared about Raw on Netflix after what just happened the other day.
What happened?
I watched the event that was Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson because it was just streamed onto Netflix. If you had access to Netflix, you could just watch it. And it was, it looked like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES. Because it was just so laggy and shit for the entirety of it. And it buffered every like minute or so and made it like miserable to watch. Even like in the middle of fights and everything, it was just like the worst live experience, which should not be a surprise for Netflix, because apparently they tried to do a different live stream thing like a year ago for the show Love is Blind, and it went a very similar way of it just being an absolute streaming nightmare. And when you see Netflix fucking up so much one stream that like it's like that's one being handled and having that gigantic of an issue. It does make you appreciate kind of what like Twitch and other platforms do. It's like, oh, it could be so much worse. And the buffering and the lag issues wasn't even the worst part of the night. It was just well, it was a good event for most of it. Barrios and Ramos fight, that was good. Taylor versus Serrano, also like entertaining to watch, although that was like from a judging standpoint a weird fight. Those were, that was boxing. And Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was one of the fucking saddest things I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Just that part of the event was laggy, or the whole thing was laggy?
The whole thing was laggy. The other fights were good fights. They were like boxing, it was actual boxing that you were watching. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, there were multiple rounds in a row where Tyson didn't even throw a single punch. It was sad. And like he had like health issues earlier in the year that absolutely added to this, that like completely like it knocked him off balance. It took a lot of his strength. He was fucking gone. It was, people are calling it elder abuse, and it kind of was. It was sad.
Tyson ring.
Elden.
That's what Jake Paul was playing. Although, I don't know. I didn't watch the fight. I didn't even know. I didn't know what was happening that particular day.
Nobody did for like a year. Everybody's been like, what's the result of the fight? When did the fight happen? People like, there have been like fake things for at least half a year of people like showing footage of Jake Paul fighting different boxers, but like you see them from behind and they're like, no, that's Mike Tyson. It's like, nope, that is the back of a different man's head. The Mike Tyson fight has not happened yet. For the past half a year, though, nobody knew when the fight was actually going to happen. And so there's so much misinformation of people pretending that it happened and posting other clips. It was weird.
I'm going to show you footage of 3 fights. 2 of them are from video games, and one of them is the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson boxing match. They are all going to be blurred at 85%, and you have to tell me which one is the real life fight.
I mean, you would just see like every like 3 weeks or so, you just see like a clip of, it's like, here's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That's Floyd Mayweather. Here's Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That's still Floyd Mayweather. It's just like, you can't get any good information.
We're operating on Mike Tyson today. That's Floyd Mayweather.
That's Floyd Mayweather. We saw too much of Mike Tyson that
my
night.
God, Mike Tyson's entering the Rumble. No, Michael, that's Floyd Mayweather.
My bad. Even if like the fight like wasn't horrid, there was still some wretched things that happened during the night. Even if you didn't see the rest of the event,
I didn't see CM Punk call that match. That would have been like the perfect match. He would have trashed both of them.
Even if you didn't see the match, you definitely saw something from that night if you've been on social media, and that is the full bare ass of Mike Tyson.
Wow.
He just full on fucking naked ass, like 10 seconds of it, because they were doing like a locker room interview with him, and he like walked away at the end of it, and they didn't cut the camera away, and he was just fucking naked. Like they were shooting it like waist up, and he just walked away, and the camera followed him, and it was just pure Tyson ass.
They interviewed him while he was naked?
Yeah, because they were in the locker room.
Why? Yeah, but why didn't they just wait until he wasn't in the locker room? Why did they have to do it when he was naked?
That's where they are all the way up until the fight starts, but it was just a interesting moment.
Like, whose fault is that for that shot? I mean, I get that the camera person could have not aimed it right at his ass, but like,
I mean, they were doing it live, so Tyson being like, we need to get this like pre-show interview real quick while he's getting ready, so they like had to force him into that moment.
Wasn't laggy.
It like buffered at that moment for some people and froze on Tyson's ass for like a minute.
Nice. Naked Mike Tyson jump scare.
It is a very depressing thought. Although Mike Tyson is not a good man, I have no love for the man. It is a very depressing reality that what is most definitely the final fight ever of this legendary boxer, that he just showed his full ass on TV and then stumbled around like an old man. What a legacy.
I mean, Is it really that surprising at this point?
No, it shouldn't be.
Bro should just become a Pokemon professor. That's how old he is now.
Welcome to the world of Pokemon.
I mean, it's just Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle round 2. Like, that was just basically that. Baron Corbin was the man to retire Kurt Angle, and no one has ever enjoyed that fact ever. I don't even think Baron Corbin enjoys it. No one knows why Vince McMahon made that decision except for that he's Vince McMahon, so it makes sense only because of that. But it was first of all, it was a shitty idea, and then it was a shitty match too. It wasn't even a good match, so you can't even be like, well, at least the match was pretty good. And it was like, it was just during that time where like WrestleMania 39 time, or not 39. WrestleMania 39 was a good WrestleMania, I think. But there's one WrestleMania that's like notably terrible, and it's one that it's not WrestleMania 27. It's a different one. It's in the 30s somewhere. I think it's 32 or something. But it's the times like that. It's like the mid to late 2010s era of WWE that was terrible before the Bloodline got like good, and that all started happening, and Cody came back. Like 2020's WWE has been absolute peak. This is like the best WWE since the mid 2000s/90s, in my Wrestling Observer opinion. So how many inches you slanging right now?
I'm slinging a lot of inches.
Pull out the ruler.
As I was watching a lot of the boxing matches, though, too, I like just seeing at the end of these matches, they just had like fucking like scraps of flesh just hanging off of their faces from all the cuts and bruises, and just like gashed open from all the punches. And seeing that kind of damage being done to their faces for all these rounds, and thinking, God damn, they walk out of this okay with no external problem, and they're fine in like 3 weeks. But Shawn Michaels takes one bad bump from Kane and gets a permanent lazy eye. It's not fair. It's insane watching them fucking like punch each other in the skull 100 times over the course of 15 minutes. And they're just, it's like, but it's fair. Fucking one bump from Kane.
That's fair. But, well, to be fair, I don't know exactly what caused that. I don't know what the bump was like. I've never seen.
It was a kick.
I don't think I've seen footage of it. I mean, I've probably seen footage of it. Nice car, bro. Nice car. You'll hear that when you're editing. You ever doing commentary on our show, and like I don't know if you can relate to me in this way, but sometimes I'm just doing commentary and then I'll blank on like what I was talking about, at least mostly, and be like, what makes me qualified to do this? And I'll just think about it, and then I get distracted. I was just gonna say that I must have. There's no way I like haven't seen footage of it somewhere sometime, but I don't remember when. I don't remember what it was or what it looks like. Also, my Discord connection seems to be dipping. That's cool.
Awesome.
I don't know why that is, but it's probably fine. But yeah, I guess what I would say to that is that wrestlers do crazy shit and sometimes accidentally mess it up by hurting their opponent more than they meant to. So I understand, because boxers are trained to do what they do, right? But wrestlers are trained to be like circus gymnastics acts while also fighting each other.
There is a big difference between having to fight somebody and protect yourself versus being trained to get hit. Like you are right. Being trained in boxing on how to take a hit and keep going, and how to protect yourself from a hit. Wrestling is all about how do you take a hit as good as possible. Like in boxing, you block the hit. In wrestling, you have to sell. You sell.
Yeah,
you just you have to absorb it as opposed to avoiding it.
That's why botches are so severe sometimes, because you're not looking for that. You're like, if you get punched on it for real in WWE, you're not looking for that. So that's why, like, when Shane McMahon was in a tag match against, he was the legal person in a tag match against Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, like, Shane was like throwing like boxing punches and shit at him, and he was really hitting Chris, and then Chris was like, back the fuck off, and punched him back or kicked him really hard or something. Because in wrestling, if you hit someone for real, you're gonna get punished.
Yeah, gotta bring the receipt.
It's happened a lot. Like when Mr. Kennedy, I think it was Mr. Kennedy, dropped Randy Orton. He threw him back in like a, I know exactly what it looked. I can think of the exact clip in my mind, but he like put Randy's, oh god. Sorry, had like a straggler in my mouth. I honestly don't know what that was, and I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, I think it was Mr. Kennedy. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it might have been some Tough Enough winner if it wasn't Mr. Kennedy. But I know that he lifted Randy Orton up over his shoulder for like a backbreaker. He did the move where like you put their arm around your shoulders and then lift them behind and drop them on their upper back. Mm-hmm. He did that to Randy Orton, but he dropped him like way too hard on his neck. And Randy Orton very famously in the clip like was like, fuck, and like threw his arm because he was pissed. And then in the next Royal Rumble, that guy entered and he got beat the shit out of ganged up on by 3 people and then thrown out and then fired, I think. So yeah, you get punished.
Yeah.
Even today, even by Paul Levesque standards, you get punished if you hit someone for real. People are just smarter and more careful now.
As is said in wrestling with that, is that other wrestlers, they are trusting you with their body and you cannot misuse that trust.
You have to be able to trust your opponent for sure. That is like that's why when someone like leaked that like behind the scenes photo like an asshole on social media, you saw like people like Gunther and Randy Orton like talking casually. It's because you have to communicate.
Yeah.
Like that's why John Cena makes like really loud verbal calls in the ring. What am I thinking of? What? I'm trying to think of the word for like calling the play, but it's not audibles. Jesus Christ.
Brought to you by Audibles.
Sometimes they have to call an audible. And John Cena always like I remember there's a clip of him like there's like 4 people in the ring. I think it's a Rumble. And there's like 4 people in the ring and John Cena's one of them. And he's staring down a different wrestler. And he's like, Zayn, Shinsuke, now attack. Like attack them.
Yeah.
And then they do. Just because John, I don't know why John just doesn't care.
Shinsuke, go!
Shinsuke, use landslide. Shit is a landslide like Shinsuke, smooth, strong style of the 50. If you haven't listened to the album Keep the Change by Kill Bill the Rapper and Raph, go listen to it. It's a good album.
I was listening last night.
Came out earlier this year.
I listened all the way through, for the first time in a while, Beneath the Toxic Jungle. And the reason for that is it was brought to mind by a certain piece of media I was watching. Because I put out the call on Blue Sky. I was like, I'm going to watch one anime this year. Just, fill like that small quota because I don't watch anime at all.
You said this like earlier in the year?
No, this was like a week ago that I put this out. I was like, I'll watch like one anime before the year is over. And one of the recommendations that I got from other streamer Billy One Kirby, shout out, what is a show called Mushi Shi. I watched the first 3 episodes, and I'm really enjoying it so far. It's a nice little slice of life thing about all this like spirit stuff. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of some Final Fantasy VII stuff. But in the first episode, immediately within the first like 5 minutes, I was like, wait a second, why is this ringing bells, what I'm hearing in the show? Because I heard like the bells and chimes and the way that the main character talks. I was like, oh,
why is this bell ringing me?
This is where the sample comes from at the end of Get Mine 2. Like this thing that I have floating around in my brain for a couple years of this song that I love off of one of my favorite albums. At the very end of Get Mine 2.
At the end of Get Mine 2.
There's that like the bell chimes like bang 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 bang. The guy's like, you've heard of Umisen Yamisen, right? It's the idea that if a snake lives 1,000 years in the sea and 1,000 years in the mountains, it'll become a dragon. And it's
wait, hold on. Let me listen to that myself real quick. I'll play it. I'll play it in the episode real quick for like a second. Let me listen to it. I need to be reminded of it. Oh, I forgot we're in a jam session.
Yeah.
I guess we both have to listen to it then.
Oh no, what a tragedy.
Hold on, let me turn this up and play it and skip to the end.
Gotta get mine. You've heard of Umisen Yamisen, right?
Yeah, so I was just like...
okay, that part.
I watched the first episode, I heard those chimes and that character's voice, and the sample isn't in that episode, but like I immediately recognized, like, this is where that comes from. So I had to immediately...
Oh my god!
I gave some thanks to Billy for recommending that, and then... in that also gave the recommendation. I also gave the recommendation of that album, and I think I've now created a new Rav fan along with it.
I actually recently had a similar experience with specifically a Beneath the Toxic Jungle song.
Devil Fruit Smoothies?
Yeah, did I tell you about off?
No, I just figured because you've been watching One Piece.
I have been watching One Piece. I've been watching a bunch of anime. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's not what I was gonna say. You just happen to... It does happen to be related to One Piece in that song. I found out that a coworker I love friend of mine who, sorry, I almost said their name like 3 times. I was trying not to. Jesus. But anyway, my friend at work who is named. My brain just tried to do it again. This is why I don't think I'm qualified for this show. They're a huge One Piece geek, and we were talking about it. We were yapping, if you will. And I was like, you should hear this song because it's so good, and it's just like, it's One Piece. It's One Piece. I pointed and was like, it's One Piece. Look, I don't know if they listened to it. I'm not sure. I did not follow up on that, but we have been yapping a lot about different animes and stuff. I'm kind of hitting my second anime wind since my teens, which is interesting because I did have a first anime wind for like a year or two when I was like 17, 18. That's when it started, and it went on for a little while. It went on until I like watched Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer before my recent anime thing was like the anime I'd been the most invested in over time besides Darling in the Franxx. I'm planning to rewatch Darling in the Franxx. I haven't seen Darling in the Franxx since I was 18. But yeah, I've been on a huge anime kick and video game kick. Like I was saying during my opening question answer, I just have like, ever since taking a large step back from content creation being a focus in my life, I've been able to like, hobbies are just so normal now. And it's like, I feel confident being like, okay, cool. I'm going to like sit and play this game and watch this anime at the same time while I'm like not doing anything. And I can do that because there's literally nothing else for me to do. I've gotten over the paranoia that I'm missing out on something. And it's so nice.
If you're not completely overwhelmed at all times, then you're underwhelmed.
Yeah, I had to get mine, and I got mine, and now I'm good.
2.
Is there a Get Mine 1?
Yeah, that's why it's Get Mine 2.
I don't think I've ever... Yeah, well, crazy. I don't think I've ever heard Get Mine 1. What album is that on?
I'd have to find it. Let me take a quick gander. Get Mine.
Ganderdorf.
Ganderdorf.
I meant to get ADHD fidget toys this week before we did this episode, and I was not able to attain any, unfortunately, which sucks. I was going to get some that were quiet so I could do them during the show, just because I sometimes like sit here and I'm trying to focus, but I only see like the Audacity, Spotify, Discord windows, and I'm just like, I need something to look at to calm my brain.
Here we go. Get Mine, the Rav track, was, what year did this come out? I had to like really search to find this because I don't think it was ever on Spotify. This was in 2012, and it was featuring Subtle Nuance.
Has that artist been on any other songs I would know?
Yeah, Subtle Nuance is on, is the who's at the end of Get Mine 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's their voice.
Yeah, getting mine on the Sesame Street be the second time. In fact, the third time will be easy.
Oh, wait, what? I thought that was Square.
No, that's Subtle Nuance. Square is the one in the middle. Is like, I guess I get it. I'd have to define what it is. I have to define a pattern. I have to define the dimensions. Yeah. But it's on.
I thought those were both Square this whole time. Sorry.
B-Sides and Rarities Volume 1, 2008 to 2012 has Get Mine 1, just known as Get Mine.
Is that on like SoundCloud or something?
Or
just YouTube?
I don't know where it is. I'm unaware.
Where'd you find it?
I Googled it. Because it's weird finding sometimes a lot of stuff for Rav and Bill because sometimes their samples aren't fully cleared, so they can't publish them on Spotify. So they just like make the song and do it in a different way.
Right.
How has the gaming been for you? What's the games been like?
Gaming's been great lately. Honestly, having a great time playing video games. I just recently finished Link's Awakening on the Switch. On it, genuinely surprised by the ending. Didn't expect the ending to be exactly what it was. I knew that I could tell that the island, spoiler alerts, if you haven't played Link's Awakening, would recommend you go ahead and go play that. I guess I'll try to throw in a time code in the description if you want to skip the spoiler. But the ending being that Link was asleep, like holding himself up in the ocean on a piece of his raft the whole time, was not what I expected. I knew that the island was like part of a dream, but I couldn't tell what that meant. I was just like, oh, so like everyone's going to die except for Link when this ends up being a thing. But I didn't realize him and the Dreamfish were like sharing a dream.
Yeah.
But I found that I actually was like, damn, wow, that's crazy, actually. I took some screen recordings and screenshots of my Switch at the end so I could post them or send them to people later. But yeah, no, that was a good game. I enjoyed that. The final boss fight pissed me off for a little bit there. I'm sure you've seen it. It's the final boss fight is it's when you go inside the egg at the top of the mountain, and you got to fight this. I think it's technically Ganon. or I think one of its phases it takes a Ganon form, but it's a 6-phase boss, and it's so hard. The first 2 phases are like no brainer, but the third phase is fucking crazy, and then the third and fourth phase are like the 5th phase isn't that hard. The 6th phase is pretty hard, and I almost beat it. It took me like 4 or 5 tries to beat the boss, like to beat all 6 phases, and there was one time where I was literally like about to beat it with 1 heart, and then it hit me. Ooh. And that was the time that I was like jumping up and down in my chair like, no, stupid, damn it. And it was fun to be able to do that without feeling the need to stream it to a bunch of people. It was nice. Because I do love streaming. Doing that Phasmophobia stream we did was really fun. Yeah. But I really have just enjoying content without thinking like, how am I going to present this to other people? And instead just presenting it to other people when I feel like it. It makes me like have more fun around my friends. I'll jump back to the rest of the other parts of my gaming journey recently. But that whole thing just it makes me like have more fun when I'm hanging out with my friends, or have more fun when I'm doing something like this and sharing something cool. Because it's like real. It's like I really genuinely emotionally enjoyed Link's Awakening. So I can actually talk about it.
You can actually be present in the moment of just enjoying the thing and not having to like multitask the thing and presenting the thing.
Right. I can just like enjoy that I enjoyed the thing and talk about it like a human who enjoyed a thing. It's something that I would argue is probably unappreciated by most of today's world. It's just beautiful just to be able to enjoy something. I feel like a lot of us get wrapped up in what we're supposed to be doing and what like our intention, what is intended for us is and stuff, and we just don't get to enjoy like what we want to set our intentions to. And to that I will say I agree a lot more with the mantra nowadays that if you put your mind to something, you can accomplish it, because my brain has holes in it, and I've put my mind to several things this year that I've been able to accomplish, and I wouldn't suggest other people go about a lot of it the way that I did, but I went about it my way. So I would just see what your way is and figure it out. Find what path works best for you. Anyway, sentimental jizz out of the way. After Link's Awakening, I have moved on to restarting and getting further into Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. My sister and I are playing Brilliant Diamond / Shining Pearl at the same time, because she just happens to have Shining Pearl. She actually started playing her Pokemon when I said I was going to play mine. And where I'm at in that game is have beaten the 4th gym. I'm on the way, if you know the mission in the game, to deliver something to an old lady in a different town for Cynthia. That's where I'm at. I'm on the way to that town to deliver that thing. I'm not sure where my sister's at. I know she's beaten at least 3 gyms. I think she has probably beaten the 4th gym by now. But we're both about the same place with our teams, that we're around like level 30, like 33 to 35 to 37 with our levels-ish, about that range. And it's very, very fun just playing a Pokemon game. I've been doing a lot of anime and gaming. I've been back on my anime train, like I said. The top 3 I've been watching are One Piece, Demon Slayer, and Spy Family. Spy Family I fucking love. I'm not going to like go into Spy Family at the moment. I might later, but I don't want to hold this podcast hostage. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on in my gaming related life, and anime is kind of a part of that. So that's why I wanted to mention it. But what about you? What's gaming? Did you beat Majora's Mask yet, or how's that going?
I beat Majora's Mask, and it was awesome.
Congrats. That's on my list.
I did, when I first started Majora's Mask, I was like, there's probably no way that I get all the masks and do all the completionisty stuff. And I didn't fully complete it. I got enough heart pieces to do the entire like combat cave up in Akana Canyon. If you play the game, you know where that is. You need like 16 hearts to be able to do that, which is almost all of them in the game. And I ended up getting all of the masks and everything. And when you do that, you get rewarded with a very special item that completely trivializes the final boss of the game, which was also
the final boss.
The final boss, engage. That was just like a great time. Just like after all the effort that you put in, it's one of the things that I really like about Majora's Mask that I am now missing going through Twilight Princess, is that Majora's Mask is like this fucking golden goose of a game, like so impossibly perfect in so many ways, and like it still has problems in other ways. I will not deny that, as evidenced by the amount of frustrations I had when I first started playing it. But it just does so much right, And there's like me being like a veteran Souls player at this point, the fact that there are RPG elements within Majora's Mask that, because everything in the game is designed for this 3-day cycle that is constantly resetting, that means that when you get any kind of upgrade or some kind of change, those things are permanent to you, as opposed to them being things that are in the world. They kind of have to be attached to Link to have an effect, because everything's always happening all the time. So it actually has those RPG elements of like getting stronger as you go along, and you get like a better sword, you get double defense, you get stuff like that, where you actually, like, regardless of the world around you, you feel the progress with everything that you do from that point on. And now that I'm going into Twilight Princess, I am missing a lot of that. I am like 24 hours into Twilight Princess, and I think I'm now probably like maybe another like 7 or 8 hours away from beating it. And it is a beautiful game. It's visually stunning. It's sonically incredible. The story is engaging. Yes. The story is engaging and really cool. The problem is that the gameplay is boring. Like, a lot of it is just not very interesting. A lot of the side questy stuff that you can do around the overworld, like a lot of the exploration, like I found an area that's like, oh, here's a little secret thing that I need a special item for. I'll come back later when I have that item and I can go get that chest that I see over there. And you do that about like 50
dash shoes.
Yeah. You do that about 50 times as you go through the open world of Twilight Princess, and you're like, finally, I have this item. I can go get that secret that I found earlier. What's that secret? 50 rupees. And like, you're always full on rupees too. So you go find like another chest with 50 rupees and you're like, wow, more fucking rupees that I can't even take with me right now because there's nothing to even spend my 600 rupees on that I have on me at the moment. It's way less rewarding to go through the game of Twilight Princess. I think the primary motivating factor is just that the dungeons are pretty good and the story is pretty good. And those are supposed to be the things that carry you along and motivate you. But all the moments in between the major dungeons and the story get really stale. And as amazing as the music is in the game, it's kind of missing in a lot of places. Like, they wanted to go for this thing very clearly. Like, there was a big pushback after Wind Waker. People were like, we want a more serious Zelda. We want a more mature, serious Zelda. And we definitely get that. And it succeeds in that in a lot of places. But one of the things that they did for that of having a darker, more serious Zelda is that they wanted to have these moments around the game for quiet contemplation, where there's not a bunch of like big sound effects and enemies and all kinds of things happening to draw your attention. You're just supposed to kind of soak in the world. But there's not a lot of world to soak in those places. And so then there's no music and there's not really a lot going on there. So these moments that are supposed to be for like a quiet contemplation of soaking in the world, you instead just kind of wish that you had game in those moments. You wish it was an exciting adventure during those moments instead of what it is. And I'm sure that works better for some people, that is like awesome for them. They're like, I love standing in this big open empty field and taking in the sights of Hyrule Castle off in the distance. But that's just not really what I'm looking for as I'm going through it. It's a good game. I intend to finish it. And if you told me right now I had to start all the way over from the beginning and do it again, I'd be like, oh, okay. But that's been my experience with Twilight Princess.
And how far did you say you are in the game?
24 hours into the game, which now is like, it's like I have one more key item that I need to get, and then probably a final sequence after that I know is probably going to take closer to 7 or 8 hours. Another thing I did not mention about Twilight Princess, another criticism that I have of it, kind of pseudo-criticism, it draws a lot on nostalgia to build out its world and to make it interesting and to like
oh my God,
keep you sort of going along. a lot of Twilight Princess is recycled from Ocarina of Time, like bosses, enemies, even a lot of dungeon
my
concepts. It is supposed to be a little bit more of a direct follow-up to Ocarina of Time, even more so than Majora's Mask. This is like the spiritual successor.
You're making so many people angry right now.
So it does like a lot of Ocarina of Time that it builds on. And I would give it a lot of points for doing that because I love Ocarina of Time. I would give it a lot of points for doing that if it had more going on for itself, because when the gameplay itself isn't very interesting and a lot of moments I find to be kind of lacking and kind of boring, I wish it would be doing its own thing instead of using nostalgia as a crutch. And that's all I have to say about Twilight Princess now. I'm done.
Oh no, you're not done, because I have one question to ask you about it. Why do you hate it?
I hate it because it's boring.
Is there a way to check your hours if you're playing a game on your totally legal GameCube on your computer?
Well,
is there a way to check your hours on that, or do you know?
I am not entirely certain. I don't think there is. Maybe it's like somewhere that you'd be able to find it, but I have no idea.
Let me search it real quick, because I've played a lot of Twilight Princess in the last year, and I actually do agree with you on the, like, getting stuff to go back and just get a chest full of rupees, even though you're full on them. I have suffered that fate a lot.
I went all the way back through fucking Death Mountain with the fucking claw shot for a chest that I remembered, like, 15 hours later. 50 rupees.
Yep. Been there. It took me a while just to figure out how to get up Death Mountain.
Oh, yeah, it's some weird stuff. Thankfully, going in from Majora's Mask had my brain in, like, the certain Zelda thing that it needs to be in, of just, like, try everything.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, there's no way to check your playtime. I mean, Twilight Princess has a built-in playtime thing on your save file.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, when you look at your save file, it'll tell you your playtime, and it's pretty accurate. That's another problem I have with Twilight Princess. It has no auto-saving, except for at the end of dungeons, which means that you can go, like, 2 hours without an autosave, and I had a crash happen after like half an hour, and I was like, I was doing the Cave of Ordeals, and it crashed at the end, and I was like, no, this is the longest shit in the game.
I can't seem to find a way to do it on the legal within PC GameCube, but I'm gonna attempt to open Twilight Princess just to look at that real quick.
Go take a gander.
So, why are you opening on that monitor? It's already going wrong. I need to turn on my controller, actually.
Oh, speaking of controllers, while you're checking that, I have a new controller on the way that I'm very excited about.
What kind of controller?
It is unfortunately an 8-shit dough, which, I mean,
It's a what?
8-bit dough, it has the reputation of being 8-shit dough. It's just brand of controller manufacturing, and they make, like, their controllers are good products to have. They are helpful controllers. They are, like, full of features, usually, that are very helpful for different, like, you know, they make a wide variety that, like, they even make one that looks like a Super Nintendo controller but has dual stick. Like, they build it for all kinds of form factors. So I got one that's Xbox style, that instead of it being the normal ALPS joysticks, which are standard and everything, that's what the type of joystick is that's in, you know, everything that is getting drift these days because everything's built with them. Those use a potentiometer to determine the position of the joystick, and that's what can cause the drift, is that wearing down over time and stuff getting stuck in there. This controller, which was only like $40, it has Hall effects joysticks, which instead of using a potentiometer, they use magnets for positioning to determine where the joystick is tilted, which means that there's, in terms of like moving parts, it's much more reliable. It'll wear down a lot less. So drift is practically not a problem with a Hall effects joystick. So my biggest hope with this, even if the rest of the make of the controller might be a little bit on the lower quality side, as long as the buttons and the joysticks, I don't have to fix those or replace them or dump out the whole fucking controller after half a year, I will be very, very happy. That's why I'm so big on this purchase. I was like, I've been using a Switch Pro controller, which works awesome, but it's starting to show a little bit of age, and it also has a really difficult time connecting to my computer. I always have driver issues trying to use it. So I just needed a solid controller that isn't going to break and is compatible with my computer. And that's what this 8 shit dough is going to be.
Well, good luck with that purchase. During that, I did answer my question. I'm just over 17 hours into Twilight Princess. That's where my playthrough is stopped. My character's name is Flurgant. And besides that, I mean, my controller situation is that I have a Switch Wireless Pro controller that I use. I have one for individually the upstairs and then the living room downstairs, just because it's convenient. I have a lot of controllers, but those are just, I happen to have two. I didn't know the one downstairs I have is one of those ones you can buy at like Target that's got a little design on it, and it's got like an 8-bit Mario Brothers design on it.
Is it like a Power A or something?
Something like that. This one I have up here is the purple one that's an afterglow, and it's got waves that stream colors when it's on, which is pretty cool. But I found out the Mario one works really fine. It just had some battery corrosion, so I cleaned it and put new batteries in it, and it works perfectly fine. So I was like, why didn't I know this controller was here? I had no idea it was there.
I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't find a PC-compatible controller in a GameCube style with Hall effects. That would have been my ideal.
Well, keep dreaming on it. Maybe one day your prayers will be answered.
Someday. I mean, you can get those. You just have to get them custom made, which would rack you up closer to like $100 for a controller, which is worth it for some, but not for me right now.
Yeah, when's your birthday?
January 15th, so it's almost 2 months to the day.
Cool. I just wanted you to let me know so I can know when to let you know ahead of time that I'm never getting you that controller. My controller, actually, honestly, it wasn't really a complaint I had until someone pointed it out, but the buttons on my Afterglow controller are so loud.
Oh, yeah?
That I was on the phone with somebody playing Pokemon and they were like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm using my controller. They were like, it sounds like you're punching the wall. I was like, oh, sorry. And now if I have like no audio other than the game audio or just like my earbuds in, which I mean, me having my earbuds in my PC setup is a whole nother story. And I'm just like hearing my controller, every button press sounds like, you know, the episode of SpongeBob where he's like sneaking through Patrick's house and every step makes a super loud noise. It's like that. But I just mostly ignore it. Like I've said before on the show, I think I've been utilizing the Switch, the Switch's like gimmicks more to like taking it to work and using it on my break by detaching the Joy-Cons and just using each one individually, like a controller, and then playing it in tablet mode.
Like a controller, Joy-Con is there.
Playing it like handheld mode. Exactly. This is why I like you. You understand these things. I also was, I just had a really random thought, really random wrestling transition. But I told Mia earlier, but they just last week for you guys, but just recently put the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble full match up on YouTube. And I was rewatching it earlier today, and I was like, I just was impressed. I was like seeing people like return and seeing so many things happen and seeing so many things that were in the context before WrestleMania 40. And I was just thinking about how like long this year was in wrestling.
Yeah.
And how many things changed. Like there were so many title changes and there were so many different like this year still was when Damian Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank. Like still at the beginning of the year hadn't cashed in his Money in the Bank. It was Senior Money in the Bank, and the Judgment Day was still the OG Judgment Day. And then like he cashed in at WrestleMania, and then he became champion, and then he lost the championship, and then he started a feud with Gunther, but then he stopped the feud, and then he started a feud with Finn Balor, and then the Terror Twins happened, and all this stuff happened just this year, and I was just like, oh my god.
It's been a full year.
Bad Blood was already a month and some change ago, and like, I think back to it, and I'm still like, I can't believe, like, thinking how, like, nebulous the idea of going to a PLE was in, like, January, and, like, we just did it, and, like, we have had done it by now for a while.
Yeah.
And we're still just here. That's crazy.
It's kind of crazy to think about right now. It's like, oh my god, he finished the story this year.
I know, like the story still wasn't finished at the beginning of this year. And then he finished it, and here we are, and he's still champion. And now we're at a point where like...
We saw in this year, Cody finishing the story, the disappearance and reappearance of Roman Reigns, and the start of the new bloodline. And now we have Sammy Uso back in the fucking building.
Yeah, we saw the start of the new bloodline. All these new Samoans and Tongans come in, and now we have the reformation of the original bloodline at Survivor Series. We only have 2 PLEs left this year.
The entirety of Punk McIntyre, basically.
And then we have Raw on Netflix in January. Oh my god.
My God. What a year it's been.
I know. It's like, oh my God, man. But anyway, that was just a quick wrestling tangent I had in my head. I was thinking about, I don't remember what we were talking about before. Controllers, I think.
We were talking about controllers, but you know what? I have a little thing extremely late in this episode. We'd normally do it earlier, but I have a segment to do.
I forgot.
That's right. It is. We are not doing the news segment this one. We are once again doing Critics Champion. Emmy, I'm going to need you to pick a video game. Last time that we did this, you chose a you chose Link's Adventure. I can't get my Zelda game straight.
Yeah, hold on. I'm making the thing for it.
I'm making poopies.
I'm adding to my points from the last episode we did this, right?
Yes, it is. We are getting a lifetime total.
Okay. I don't lose points for getting them wrong, do I?
You do not lose points for getting them wrong. The thing is that after you get one wrong, you now only get half a point for each one you get correct, and a second one wrong ends the game.
Okay, because I think last time I got 2 wrong in a row, and that's how the game ended.
Yes. You got tripped up on...
I have a lifetime total of 3 points.
I think it was Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Because I paired them back to back, Until Dawn and Until Dawn Remastered.
And I was like, well, here's where the game ends.
Pick your champion.
Pick my champion, any game.
Any game.
Any game.
We are once again for this week going to be using IGN again because I had more picks from last time that we did not go through, so they were still on the table for, just things I have prepared.
I'll make my champion this week, Team Sonic Racing.
Team Sonic Racing. So your champion this week is Team Sonic Racing. If you missed the first installation of this, the goal is going to be I'm going to pit Team Sonic Racing up against a campaign of other games and their ratings, and it is going to be Emmy's job to tell me whether or not Team Sonic Racing is rated higher or lower than the games that I throw at her. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. For the first game, is Team Sonic Racing rated higher or lower than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. What console is that on?
I'm actually not sure. Let me check.
I don't know what console gen that is.
That is on PS4, Xbox One.
Okay.
It was decently new. 2015, it seems.
I don't know about that. I know like the first 2 are pretty popular, but if I had to guess, I'd say Tony Hawk's was rated higher, but maybe not.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Team Sonic Racing is pretty good generally for a car racer, but I don't know what IGN would think of it. I'm gonna go with Team Sonic Racing because I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 might have been a bit outdated, and if it's the one with the like interactive skateboard thing, I can't imagine that sold well.
Now, you have once again answered in the way that is not the format of this show. Is it rated higher or lower?
Oh, I meant higher.
Okay. That is 1 point to you. Team Sonic Racing is rated higher than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
I won.
Is Team Sonic Racing higher or lower than Squirrel with a Gun?
Squirrel with a gun?
Recent viral video game, Squirrel with a Gun, featuring a squirrel with a gun.
I don't know that game.
I can tell you it is very far from AAA. It is about a squirrel with a gun.
I can tell both of those things. Am I allowed to see any...
Yeah, let me give a screenshot.
Art or anything related to the game?
For games that you are not aware of, I will provide a single reference image, so that way you can have at least some point of reference. I will give you the cover of Squirrel with a Gun. What the fuck? That did not send correctly.
That did not send correctly at all.
That's sent as a file. I love trying to do anything off of a browser where fucking... Dude, I hate WebP so goddamn much. Except this isn't even WebP. This is fucking... What format? This is AV1. Nobody uses AV1. What the hell?
Squirrel with a gun does.
There's the cover for Squirrel with a Gun. Is Team Sonic Racing rated higher or lower?
I don't know. I can't imagine there's that much content to it that it would be like so thoroughly thought of by IGN than Team Sonic Racing. I'm gonna say again, Team Sonic Racing is higher.
That is another point to you. That is 2 points total for this. It is Squirrel with a Gun is rated lower.
Great.
Is Team Sonic Racing rated higher or lower than SpongeBob SquarePants: The Patrick Star Game? Which is just the official title, The Patrick Star Game.
The Patrick Star Game. Is that based on that new show?
This was a Switch release a couple years ago. I don't think it was exclusively Switch, but it's in that era.
Can I go look at its Switch page?
Well, I don't know if they have ratings on the Switch store.
I definitely don't think they have like official news outlet ratings. But you can just send me like a cover or something if you want.
Yes, you will once again, just for games that you are not familiar with or do not know much about, you will only be allowed to see the cover. That is all the information you may have.
Okay.
Well, here's the box cover for the Switch cartridge.
This looks just like produced just to exist. I'm probably just gonna go with a hard Team Sonic Racing wins this one.
You are correct. Team Sonic Racing is rated higher.
I couldn't imagine it wasn't.
That is 3 points. All right. Is Team Sonic Racing rated higher or lower than Multiverses?
That's interesting. Multiverses is more popular. Is it rated higher though? I don't even know what a game like Smash is rated against Multiverses, and that's in like the same field.
Platform fighters.
Yeah. I mean, if my champion was Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, this would be equally as easy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people at IGN would have thought like this is the Smash killer. But I don't know. What were the games I've done so far?
You have done Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, Squirrel with a Gun,
Right.
and SpongeBob SquarePants: The Patrick Star Game.
But those are all pretty like none of those are on the same caliber as these two. So that's what's hard about it. Like, it makes a lot of sense to Team Sonic, because Team Sonic Racing is a good game, and the music in it is good. I am gonna say that Multiverses is higher.
That is incorrect.
Really? Wow.
Multiverses is ranked lower than Team Sonic Racing.
Impressive.
So you do not get a point for this round, and you are now on your final life, and you will only receive half a point for each correct answer. Is Team Sonic Racing rated higher or lower than Astrobot? Not Astro's Playroom, the new game, the one that came out a few months ago, Astrobot.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. Astrobot's pretty good. A lot of people liked Astrobot.
I glazed the fuck out of it, with no regrets.
I feel like Astrobot was a hit. So I don't know. This is another like
Astrobot just had an update where they added a few more Astrobots, one of them being like Helldivers.
Astrobot versus Team Sonic Racing. I wish I at least knew what Team Sonic Racing's IGN rating was. Like, if it's higher than Multiverses.
So far, it has been higher than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, higher than Squirrel with a Gun, higher than SpongeBob, higher than Multiverses.
Yeah. I guess since this is probably the one, but it's come down to the same exact scenario as the last time we did this, I will just go ahead and say Team Sonic Racing is higher.
That is incorrect.
Yeah, I thought so.
Astrobot is rated higher than Team Sonic Racing. That leaves you with, once again, same as last time, a grand total of 3 points.
Yep.
And the ratings of all of the games that we went through today, Team Sonic Racing, IGN, gave that an 8.5. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was 3.5. Squirrel with a Gun was rated 6. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Patrick Star Game was rated 5. Multiverses was a 7. Astrobot is a 9.
That was tough. I knew I was walking into a trap on that last one.
A deadly trap. I think that brings you up now to a lifetime total of 6 points.
Yes, it does.
And thankfully now, from the last time we did this and now, with the amount of games that we got through, there are enough left over from both lists of last time and this time that I don't even have to go make another list next time.
Congratulations.
I can recycle.
You keep trapping me after 3.
Yep.
Well, I guess 5 technically. Because there always has to be the 2 I fail on. So, gotta make sure you have extra 2.
Of course, of course.
Not just the 3 I'll get correct, but the 2 that I'll fail.
When I was looking through IGN's thing for like all their rankings of games, it is very funny that they have side by side. Like they reviewed them like back to back in the same month. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 single player campaign and Bluey, the video game.
Nice.
Both of them just like appearing there side by side in the list. Pretty great.
That timing works out so funny sometimes. It's just another Animal Crossing Doom Eternal situation.
Always an Animal Crossing on the new horizon.
And Doom is always eternal.
I probably should have taken the opportunity when it was on sale. It was in a bundle for Doom 2016, along with some other stuff. I check often, although it's not always that there will be things there that I actually care about, because, I mean, mystery bundles are usually just a scam. But I check Fanatical a lot, is a good website for bundles. And I've gotten some good stuff through there at some good deals, but I probably should have taken the opportunity there to get Doom 2016. But sometimes you just don't find enough things inside of one bundle to make it worth it. There will be like one game in it.
I love Doom 2016. I've never used that service, but I do know about it. I think I know about it. Unless I'm thinking of the same service, but it's a different service.
You got to keep up. I check often Fanatical and SteamDB, because SteamDB just has a page that you can go to see games on Steam that have like free promotions. So you can just see, like, you just go to the page, and I can just send you the link to this, where you can see, like, as they arrive, what games on Steam you can just like get for free and keep forever, or if they have like a free weekend. It's good to check. And right now, because Half-Life 2 is having its 20th anniversary, Half-Life 2 is free right now. Although that's probably going to be expired by the time that this episode comes out. But they finally added a Steam workshop to Half-Life 2. It's huge. And they added developer commentary. And they showed off what was going to be in Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Like, some of it. So we, like, we kind of get Half-Life 3 a little bit. Just a taste of it.
You want to believe that. You want to believe it so hard,
It's
don't you?
basically, like, there have been, like, fan-made things to sort of finish out the story of Half-Life 2, because they left it on a big old cliffhanger, and then they never delivered on Half-Life 2 Episode 3, which Gabe has now said was, like, a huge, like, personal failing that they could not deliver on Episode 3, but they had some cool concepts. So, very nice now getting the 20th anniversary Half-Life 2. They have made it free for the past couple days. They added Steam Workshop, and they also fixed a couple things, and, like, added, like, a couple more little fun things to it. It's very nice.
That's cool.
I'm rather saddened that I cannot finish my Half-Life 2 VR playthrough I was doing with the unofficial VR mod, because my Quest controller is broken, so never get to finish that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Boo-hoo.
I would really like to intend to buy some new Joy-Cons soon. Not because of drift. Mine are just ugly. They're the two neon yellow ones, and I don't like them. I am okay with them, but I don't like them.
It was actually from discussion about the Switch 2 that I first learned that Hall effect sticks are a thing. And I was like, what? There's a better joystick alternative on the market that, like, doesn't get drift problems? Because, you know, people talking about, like, what could actually be the new hardware feature. Because they said there's going to be, like, a new gimmick for the Switch successor. So a lot of discussion has been like, what is that actually going to be? And one of the things was like, maybe it'll just be the exact same, except it has Hall effect sticks. And that put my brain onto it, and now I'm going to be getting one of those controllers. So listening into gaming discussions can be helpful in unintended ways, and absolutely mind-numbing in others.
You'll have to tell us about it when you get it and use it for a little while.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, I was in no way wondering what it would be. I knew I knew you'd be present and ready to review this product, which I'll be excited to hear. I haven't needed a new controller in a while, just because I don't. I mean, I'm happy about it, honestly. I just want new Joy-Cons because I want I want a bunch of different colors of them, so I can just have them. I just like changing up stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's also nice to just have spares.
Right.
I gave a recommendation the other day. Somebody in my chat was saying that they need to get, like, new headphones, and I was like, I have a recommendation, because I finally have, like, the longest lasting headphones I've ever had are the ones I'm wearing right now. And they're so good, they sound really good, and they have really lasted quite a long time, and thankfully, just the hardware in them is good enough that the only thing I've had to replace is just the cable, because that got, like, worn down over time, completely unrelated to the actual quality of it. That was just my own negligence about the cable health. But I use one audio that's spelled out the number 1, ODIO, and they are the model A71. is what I'm using right now. And I went through a lot of frustration for quite a long time with headphones where they would like, they'd like snap after a year, or like one of the ears would just stop producing sound. It would have some kind of problem. And I would go through headphones quite a lot. But these I've had for 2.5 years now. I actually got them right before we visited Boomers, like literally like the couple days before. And they've been lasting ever since. They've been great. And I like them so much that I got a second pair of basically the same model. I got the A70, which is a Bluetooth compatible model, although very similar audio profile. All of it's basically the same form factor, same everything. It's just that one has Bluetooth capability is the biggest difference. And so now it's just been so lovely to have like a spare and also a wireless option for the exact same headphones. And they're only like, they're also only like $40. They're really good for the price. If you want like good sounding headphones that are going to last you quite a long time, go for it. One Audio A71.
You can find a text code picture of them in the description. No, just kidding. Well, that is interesting as well. I spent this week dealing with some headphone stuff. So Mia was staying with me like a month ago, so you know what these are. But I have these cabinet locks that stick to a cabinet, and then the side of the cabinet around it or another cabinet, so they can't open. And I have that for my cats because they try to open my cabinets. So I stuck one to my desk and like shortened it really short and stuck a headphone extension cable out from my PC that's really long through it to have my earbuds in at my desk without needing my microphone in front of me. Because that was the way I did it before. So it's actually a really great method. I figured that out one day, and I went to bed, and the next morning I woke up and my cats tore my earbud cable just straight up. Only one of the ears worked. And I was pissed, but I was like, you know what? I should have known. And I think I'm about at the point, it's been about 3 months with my cats, 4 months. Jeez, I think it's been 4 now. No. It's been 3.
It's been a minute.
It's been 3, but it's been a minute, yeah. And I love my cats, if you don't know. Oh, I actually had a funny picture I was going to show. Man, there's so much shit in this episode. Man, this episode is huge. Follow us on your favorite platform and go to Spotify and YouTube for the video version. But anyway, I was getting paid from my job this week, my IRL job, so I was like, all right, I need a plan to buy new earbuds, but I also need a plan for how I'm going to protect them. So I made this whole plan and successfully carried it out where I use like Apple earbuds with the 3.5 millimeter jack, because those are the ones I like to use, especially in my computer, because I can like hear myself think and I can hear everything around me, but I can still like tune out if I want to. These just I've ever since they changed the way Apple headphones are from like the regular kind of earbuds to the like shaped ones, the form-fitted ones, those have always fit my ears better than most earbuds. So what I did is I bought a new pair of those, and let me actually, I can take a picture of this setup and put it on the screen real quick, just so y'all know what I mean, and I'll send this to you as well. But I set this up so that I could have my earbuds at my setup. It's going up on the screen right about now.
Oh.
I put this setup in place so that it would hold, and also it's unlockable, so I can move the cable without having to take this thing off if I want, or put something else in it, which is really nice. Because I was wondering how I could make that stick without having to buy something new.
You got the headphone jack fucking tied up for BDSM.
Yeah, well, you know how I like it. Anyway, I don't have an actually funny way to add to that joke, but good joke. Freaky.
I didn't even know that you like. I probably should just go like this now, so that way I don't like lose it. But you told me before we recorded this about a post you had made on the Blue Sky. Yes, I did. It's great. Let everyone know. Shoddy got that Fred jiggle horn. It wasn't even a minute from thinking of it and posting it. I was like, I have to post that before I forget. Pretty great. It was very in the flavoring of Rav that he does that on Twitter. But so to continue my headphone plan, I had to buy new earbuds, which thankfully, and I mean, I only say thankfully because a lot of their other stuff and a lot of other pairs of headphones are really expensive. Thankfully, these Apple earbuds with the 3.5 millimeter jack are only $20. So I was like, whatever, I'll just buy a new pair of them because I like them. I'm willing to spend $20 on the headphones I like. Because I had just gotten like a really good setup for using earbuds at my desk. And I was like, this is awesome. Like I can sit here for so much longer now and use headphones that are comfortable. So I also
got this desktop set of stackable drawers that are just like little, and I used command strips because I use command strips for everything. I used command strips to stick them to the desk. I actually had to get a little crafty with it because I didn't end up being able to stick them because there's this like lip on the top and bottom of it. So the command strips themselves were unable to reach the desk if I put it down flat because the lip was too tall. So what I ended up doing was just sticking another pair of command strips on top of the original, and that worked. So life hack if you are a command strip user like me and you need it to be a little taller. But I use this drawer. I can put my headphones and other desk stuff like my chapstick and stuff in this drawer at night, and my cats will not mess with it. And it's very, very nice.
I saw firsthand how much they love to steal chapstick.
They do. I mean, I just found a little compartment under my pantry that I didn't even know existed, but it's so little. But that's where all their little toys and my chapstick ended up. It's just under that little thing. If you look under it, it's just like a big pile of stuff. And I had no idea that's where all that went, but it makes sense that they knocked all that under there. And we should probably do something about it. So I'm probably going to fish my chapstick out of there at some point soon. But yeah, so I've had to do a lot of things to protect my stuff from my cats, but that is one of the more convoluted ways I had to go about it. But it's nice because I now use my Skull Candy headphones as wired headphones if I want those. I just have a cable that is plugged into my microphone that rounds about my desk, and I can plug into my ears if I want to use it. Or sorry, I can not my ears. I can plug into the headphones if I want to use them for my computer, because I just let the Bluetooth connect to my phone. Their Bluetooth can connect to my computer and it would work pretty well. I just didn't want to mess with the connections if I didn't have to. And I'm trying not to care so much that it's not wireless, because I still have my other PC headphones, but those just aren't as comfortable as these earbuds or the Skull Candy ones. And I don't like having to get up for my setup just because my head is uncomfortable from my headphones. I should be able to have headphones that are comfortable. So I did, and that's what I did. And so I'm happy with the way this worked out. It also is kind of nice just to get a fresh pair of earbuds because they will feel fresh in your ears. They'll be a little higher quality.
Speaking of your cats, I have a whole bunch of pictures of them and videos and all kinds of stuff from my trip that have all been on my little digital camera that I intended to put onto my computer as soon as I got home. But since I got home, I haven't been able to find my little USB SD card reader. So those have been sitting there for like a month. I haven't seen anything from that, and I haven't been able to put those on my computer. And I still need to find it. I do not know where the hell that thing went.
Where are you? And I'm sorry.
I cannot write. I cannot read tonight.
I took the funniest picture of, I believe it was Marcy earlier. Marcy also in particular likes to take her collar off, which is annoying.
That whore.
But I'll send this to you. I just didn't expect it when I was walking up my stairs, but I just turned around and saw this. I'll put it on the screen as well. I didn't expect this, but she was just unloading all that dumpy just onto the ground. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. It is kind of crazy. She was not that fat when we adopted her. We feed them well and let it show with this picture.
It looks like a frog.
Yeah, she does look like a frog.
Well, I believe that brings us to the end of this here lovely episode 42.
I guess it does.
Thank you for joining us for yet another week, and we hope to see you again next week at this same time.
Yes, please.
Which is weird for me because daylight savings changed the time that this comes out for me. So I have to adjust for that now.
Yeah, but 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will never change for this.
Have a lovely rest of your evening, and goodbye.
Toodaloodles.